Alright, time for another draftphysics.com, debatephysics.com also, but again, the debate is just not very useful. I mean, all of this physics is, you really can start from some premises and then argue through those and go through the history and then go through the experimental evidence and, talk about what's realistic. And frankly, they don't want to do that because nothing they're suggesting is realistic, frankly. It just doesn't fit with the reality we live in. Many worlds. Come on. So ridiculous. Anyway, so this conspiracy Toonz loony. Fool. I mean, idiot. I mean, shit talker. I mean, flat earth debunker. Yeah, this is a thing. But anyway, there was some interaction, blah, blah, blah. So I guess I might as well go through some of that conversation, okay, such as it is. And I'm just going to read some emails, no names, blah, 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 blah. And, it's is what it is. And so I made the couple of videos replying, okay, responding to a Jim Al-Kahari video where, again, he's just talking nonsense physics, frankly. And so somebody emailed him and, requesting that he might want to pay attention to something, like a real conversation about actual experiments that actually took place rather than his fake experiments that never happened. Anyway, so you got the standard whatever response. It says, please note the professor is not obliged to respond to or comment on unsolicited correspondence or emails. This should not be taken as a personal criticism of yours or a dismissal of your work. Well, it's clearly a dismissal, but whatever. Jim receives many emails, including physics questions and requests, and therefore is unable to answer many of them. Well, he doesn't mention, probably doesn't answer any of them. But anyway, due to this busy schedule, he's also not able to provide any evaluations of manuscripts, papers, or new theories unless submitted through a professional journal. So again, this whole, well, we'll filter you out, and that's the so go ahead, try to get through our filters. Okay, so then they said, so it says, and so this is something added. A YouTuber called, let's see, I don't know, I guess that's not answered by anyone. So this might be a separate thing that happened. Okay, a YouTuber called Conspiracy Toonz needs a new topic. So I messaged him. He would like you to email him, chat, debate, physics, whatever. Alright, so that was sent as a separate email, I guess. Yeah, that was a little bit confusing. Doesn't really matter, it's all the same thing. So I did send him an email. Let's see, greetings. I received an email indicating you might be interested in defending your science physics against my argument that it's substantially nonsense. Now, that's pretty clear, right? I'm saying the physics you believe in is, flat earth. It's stupid. It's nonsense. I'm certainly not a flat earther, but I'm also not an etherer. Let's see, a wavist, an entanglementist, or a no absolute spacist, or someone who believes energy has something to do with velocity squared. Anyway, if you are genuinely interested in arguing what the scientific facts evidence actually indicates, I'm willing to participate in any form of interaction debate you are willing to provide. Okay, so I could have been written better, maybe. I don't know. That's not so bad, right? So he says, so far you have listed things you don't claim. I don't know. No, I listed a whole bunch of things I'm claiming are garbage. Your entire physics, repertoire, I'm saying, is crap. I mean, there's just about almost nothing a physicist said that I can possibly agree with. There is no debate on I don't claim. So again, I'm making plenty of claims. I made them right in the emails. So I'm saying, what the fuck? What do you claim? Well, I claim there's no entanglement, obviously, and there's no ether, and there's no bent space, and there's no relative space. You know, there's no time in, space. There's no time location. It's not a dimension. All right, anyway. So I said, sorry you misunderstood my email. I think I was clearly implying that I think the substance of your physics is no better than flat earth physics. I contend that the fact that the evidence and experiments do not prove the bunk claimed, For example, the kinetic energy theorem, 1/2 VMV. It proposes that twice the velocity is 4 times the energy. It also proposes that it requires 25 times the force to spin something 5 times as fast. This is on its face ridiculous. And the fact that no experimental evidence defends this much should have you applying your mocking skills to ridiculing defenders. The fact is, this plainly wrong formula, proven wrong by a simple lever or balance, poisons a substantial part of physics. Even elemental things like weighing an electron was miscalculated because of this wrong equation. How about we debate this? No reply. Okay, so, what the fuck, And so these people do make videos, there's no excuse that I don't have the time, or we can't do, So it says here right on his channel, right? I make videos exploring the real world, and I insist on evidence. So that would be great. It would be great to have a conversation with somebody who actually insists on evidence. And, it might be nice to have a standard, like the evidence should be beyond reasonable critique, or so it's very solid. Can't be reasonably denied as a solid piece of evidence. Now, would you put the Eddington experiment in the category of a piece of experimental evidence that can't reasonably be denied or discounted or rejected as meaningful, when the guy who did the experiment said, I got 10% of the data quality, and said I wouldn't stake my life on the results? Yeah. All right. The majority of my videos focus on globe deniers, so whatever, and sharing with everyone the evidence for the actual shape of the world. So again, it's sort of bizarre that, there's, 5 tests that you could talk about that are pretty conclusive. The whole, just look across any area where you can see more than 4 miles, and you'll be able to figure out it's around Earth. Then you got all the other technical evidence from satellites and everything else that just is overwhelmingly beyond critique, in the sense of, we know it's made by hundreds of thousands of people who clearly are not part of some conspiracy. All right. I mean, it's such a silly conspiracy. It's so fucking silly to think that you could have that many people involved in a conspiracy. It's just impossible. I mean, there should be a... what was his name? Damn, I guess keep forgetting people's names. Oh, damn it. The entanglement guy with the formula, with the can't be over 2 thing. Well, his formula was over 1, but anyway. There should be some rule, that, if you're, there should be a limit on how many people can, as a practical, factual probability thing. It gets to be 1 in trillions of odds that you could have a conspiracy where there's more than 14 people in it. But anyway. All right, well, I'll take a pause and decide what else to say on this in this video. So you can't get any argument out of these people. I mean, I might, playing one of his videos just seems like a really bad idea. I mean, this one apparently he's created a fake flat earther and has his, face moving, and he's going to argue with the fake arguments he's going to make, and yuck, not a great idea. Probably not. But I mean, flat Earth arguments. I mean, it's just such a waste of time. There's nothing better to argue. Damn. I mean, really, the crazy shit that this, actually they actually saw Brian Greene. That's the other asshole's name, Brian Greene. Oh God, crazy. He just says such silly shit. So they actually did a video where they talked about wormholes weaving the fabric that is bent space. And you just say, that's fine. Yes, talk any kind of crazy shit. It's okay. We'll listen, and then we'll consider it, and we'll just pretend, and then we'll believe. I mean, isn't it like dark matter? Dark matter was kind of like, whoa, that's a little bit out there. Isn't it just kind of pretending there's invisible man energy in the universe or something? I mean, it's just such a... Oh, gee, anybody could make up the fake substance that has only one property. It's completely invisible, undetectable, but it makes free gravity. Yay! I mean, it's such a bad theory. It's so ridiculously convenient. Yeah, it's so ridiculously convenient. And now it's standard, they all believe it. It's all like, oh yeah, we're all supposed to believe this thing exists. No evidence, just a placeholder pile of crap. Oh, just so bad. Alright, well, I guess I'll pause and see if there's something else I can do to this video. Alright, so I guess I'll use the space just to, the one subject you could talk about is like entanglement, and you could talk about the fact that they sold this idea without really telling people anything. So, the context of the conversations just gets so silly. So there's the whole Schrodinger's cat thing. And it should have never been a subject, because everybody should have agreed that, well, unless you have the cat in a vacuum, you suck all of the air, and then you put a lead shield around it so no radiation at all could possibly get in the box. That is, no microwaves or no anything could possibly go through the box and hit the cat. So it would have to be in a vacuum and, isolated in feet of lead or something, for you to have any even hope that the cat isn't being outed by a piece of energy hitting it. That is, it's being de-entangled because something's hitting it. New universe is being created. Whatever you want to say. But the cat clearly is either one or the other, and it's detectable. And so you can sort of understand this, that, well, yeah, no matter what the box is made out of, I could always just bounce radiation off the box, and I could hear whether there was a heartbeat inside the box. I mean, all kinds of ways you can understand that there's no way the cat could not have already been de-entangled. That there's absolutely, it can't be in some sort of superposition of alive and dead for anything other than some kind of gazillionth of a second, because some form of energy is going to hit the cat, and that's going to reflect the identity, the condition of the cat is going to be known because that piece of energy has it written on it. Okay, and that piece of information, okay, can't be destroyed, in the sense that forever the particle reflecting off the cat is forever that. All right, so, but anyway, so that's not a subject worth discussion. Nobody should have a conversation about all that kind of crap. No. It should always, and if you're going to have it, you have it in some sort of mathematical form that won't mean anything to anybody. It's just so bad. I mean, the physics is just so rotten and stupid. So, I mean, every single subject has this kind of context, where you could just argue, I mean, when physicists conceded that bent space moves at the speed of light, I mean, isn't isn't that just a gigantic giveaway that, well, it's really not bent space, is it? It's really not some sort of bent geodesic or some sort of different thing. It's the same thing as the rest of the stuff moving the speed of light. Because that whole argument, it fits. I mean, it actually does work. I mean, Feynman conceded mock gravity works. That is a reversal of a light bulb kind of concept. It creates the inverse square law, creates a constant force, creates all the ingredients you need. I suppose I'll save that argument for another one of the videos. But, it's just... so all these people don't want to talk about real physics subjects and, how you experimentally, how we prove the facts of our existence, what the universe really is made out of, how it really functions, and instead want to waste time arguing with creationists. And I think flat earthers are basically creationists, right? I mean, they're not doing this flat thing for no reason. They're doing it, for a reason, to run away from any notion. You still can't even. You can't think of it in any other way than they're just trying to be disruptive. They're just saying no to every, you ask them a question, they always say no, or something. They're just being, because why? Yeah, like a kid going, because why? Because why? Because why? Or something. They're just being annoying because they like it. It's the only thing they're good at is being annoying, so they do it. Because you just, how do you can't even conceptualize a flat earth. I mean, you can't make it into you can't turn it into something you can actually imagine. What the fuck are you talking about? How the fuck can it possibly be flat? What happens when I get to the end? I mean, I know they have some kind of wacky answer, but I mean, you can't do it. It doesn't work. You magically pop on the other side, or I don't know. Can't really just turn around because then everything will be left on left side will be on the right side, so that'll be a giveaway. But anyway, it's just so stupid. Anyway, and they'll waste time. They'll waste time on that. People will watch that crap. And they'll do everything they can to discourage any real subject from getting any attention or being argued. And again, this is in the context where, the MV squared makes a lot of claims, and none of them, just none have been demonstrated. The whole idea of the bowling ball having twice as much energy, the 8-pound ball going twice as fast, the half heavy ball. I mean, none of it is demonstrated by a single shred of evidence. And, you could just imagine you could take, the momentum of a wrecking ball and put it into little tiny bullets. And do you really think it's going to knock down a building? I mean, it's just so silly. Anyway, alright, so I'll pause and see if this, I could just do this generalization thing. I probably should just maybe show the simulation some more or something. I don't know. It's just, look, there's just no point. What's being realized is there's no point. I mean, I thought getting more people views, by these audiences for these videos, that there would be some percentage of them that would have a real passion for science and some integrity, like they want there to be. They want the human race to believe in the truth. They want people to understand how you tell the truth from bullshit, and you do it with this thing called evidence. And it's just so amazing that they'll defend their religion without any evidence. So their religion doesn't need to be proven, and everybody else's does. I mean, they're just religious people. And that does surprise me. I just didn't, I'd never liked, frankly, the whole way atheists would argue with Christians, because they would just mock them instead of trying to help them understand. that it matters, the truth matters. And having people believe in fairy princesses and, fairy godmothers doesn't do the human race any good, because we have real problems and God's not going to come to fix them, so we have to. And we're not going to fix them if most of us think God's going to protect them. Yeah, that's not going to work as a strategy for advancing the human race. Oh, fuck. This is so depressing. Yeah, this is so depressing. But anyway, I am surprised that this task is nearly impossible, because it really is going to require somebody, who has some standing in the community to show integrity. And it just doesn't seem like they have any, certainly they don't have any obvious interest in doing that. And, it's all back to the Einstein thing. Look at how people degraded Einstein, as a scientist, just because, he wouldn't play along. He wouldn't endorse their bullshit. So, yeah, it's very depressing. So, I'll be back. And Einstein was so tame, in terms of, he gave all kinds of latitude to allow people to be silly and stupid, in the sense that he wouldn't even come out and call himself an atheist, because he didn't want to offend anyone. All right, so yeah, I was just thinking about the fact that, okay, you people believe this for some dopey reason. You believe the crap they tell you, okay, whether it's entanglement or superposition or black holes or whatever. And I'm sitting there saying, okay, I haven't seen anything called credible evidence, and something obviously makes you think it's true. And so my argument is it just because they say so, right? There's nothing else to it, because there isn't some experiment that convinces you. So I'm just saying, when it comes to this idea that there's some reason to square velocity, what experiment, what piece of physical evidence makes you believe that or think that's true? I mean, just on the face, that somehow twice the velocity is magically 4 times something. That somehow doubling velocity is much more important than doubling mass. I mean, why are you convinced that doubling the velocity creates 4 times the energy, but doubling the mass only creates twice the energy? What convinces you? Because it doesn't happen in electricity. So what experiment? What piece of evidence? And like I say, I can go to these more extreme statements where there's actually some piece of evidence that makes you believe that it does actually take 25 times the fuel to spin something 5 times as fast. That if you do go 50 miles an hour, you're actually going to use 25 times the fuel of going 10 miles an hour? You really think so? And you've really been convinced by some piece of evidence somewhere? I mean, that's the part that's so bothersome, is that none of these people will explain to me what convinces them. Why are they so convinced this is the truth? I pointed out, highlighted the history. I mean, I'm just saying the history is really bad. I mean, Leibniz showed up and basically said Newton's too atheist, which is sort of amazing. And and argued based on just saying it rather than proving anything. He believed distance falling in gravity made the rate at which you collected it. Now, this was a year before Newton published and explained the whole gravitational thing. It's a time-dependent force. I mean, I just don't understand. Why are you so convinced? They never proved it with anything. You do understand that, right? This was not proven by some experiment that said, oh, here, you just can't debunk this perfect experiment. You don't have any of that. And yet you're so arrogant. I find that amazing that, you say things like, I insist on evidence. When, of course you don't. Okay, anyway, enough said. Just very depressing.